Next on Valley News Live at 10, our rain set to turn to snow? Hutch joins us early to tell us where, when, and how much.
Should cities be able to dictate how many pets you can own?
Plus testimony saying it was a lack of oxygen, not drugs, that killed George Floyd. Valley News Live at 10 starts right now.
This is Valley News Live at 10.
The rain isn't letting up for some of us, and a check of the radar shows that system parked over us looks like a slow mover.
Let's find out more from Hutch now, who's got our first look at the forecast. Hutch?
Thanks so much. Good evening, everyone. The rain showers continue, but they have shifted a little bit now to the west of the Red River Valley, Grand Forks County, all the way out towards the Larimore area, seeing some showers of rain, and back out to the west of Lisbon, Oak, seeing showers, and Valley City, some beneficial moisture for Barnes County tonight. That extends up through Findlay, and northwards there's the Larimore and Grafton area, seeing some rain showers this evening as it's quieting down a little to the east. Now, if you are traveling, we do have some fog concerns out to the east. That's east of the Alexandria area, and wind is expected in the day for tomorrow out west, where it remains dry and the fire danger remains high. First alert weather day, as we are expecting snow, and the good news is those folks who have not seen any moisture may see some Monday and Tuesday. I'll have details in just a few minutes on all of that.
Okay, thanks, Hutch.
There's a lot of talk tonight over one town's possible move to limit the number of pets per home. The proposal will be considered Monday in Dilworth, and it's captured the attention of people all over the valley. Valley News Team's Courtney Lockey joins us now in the studio to explain why. Courtney?
Thanks, Mike. The proposal calls for no more than 4 or more dogs or cats, or a combination of both in any one home in Dilworth. There's an exception for sheltered and or abandoned animals if the owner applies for a license through the police department. I talked with the police chief today. He says it's the first time in more than 2 decades the city is updating its animal ordinances, and it's being done for the safety of animals and their owners.
It's not something that we're going to be looking out to enforce on a regular basis or go knock on people's doors. It just ties us in the same as Moorhead and Fargo, limits to 4 animals.
Now, most cities do have limits on how many pets are allowed in any one home. Still, the news upset many on social media. It sparked a huge discussion on our Facebook page, and the story has prompted people to express opinions on what Dilworth is doing, what should or shouldn't be done regarding pet laws, even government restrictions, and our overall freedoms.
No, that's not fair. You should be able to do whatever you want. It's your house, you pay the bills, you do whatever you want. It doesn't make any sense why the city should be able to control that.
If it's just something like simple like a cat or a dog like that to me it's not fair, because that's like putting a limit on children.
It depends on person to person, and just there should be different exceptions to every type of thing.
While Dilworth's police chief did comment on pet limitations, he really wanted to let people know about the other aspect to this ordinance update that would allow pet owners to apply for a lifelong license by getting their animals microchipped. Both proposals will be considered on Monday. Mike?
All right, thanks, Courtney. And we'd like you to join in on the conversation. Just head to our Valley News Live Facebook page and click on this story.
Tonight, a Detroit Lakes woman is out nearly $7,000. The woman believes she was helping her grandson, but actually fell into the trap of a scammer. 85-year-old Shirley Purrington received a call Monday morning from someone she thought was her grandson. He explained he was in Florida and was in trouble, but on the other line, it was actually a scammer who insisted it would cost nearly $7,000 to help her grandson.
He said it was supposed to go to the bank and get the money cash. They said they wouldn't, they didn't want a check.
Now, according to AARP, scammers have stolen nearly $400 million during this pandemic. You can hear more of Shirley's story on our VNL News app. And if you need help uncovering an issue in your community, call our whistleblower hotline. We'll do our best to get to the bottom of it. 237-6576. You can call and leave your tip.
A healthy person subjected to what Mr. Floyd was subjected to would have died as a result of what he was subjected to. Once he stops breathing at 20, 25, 16, then it would take another 25 seconds for the level of oxygen to go down to zero. At that point, he wouldn't have an ounce of oxygen left in his entire body.
Fentanyl in George Floyd's system became the major focus for both the prosecution and the defense in this day 9 of testimony in the trial of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin. Camila Bernal is in Minneapolis with the latest.
You can see his eyes, he's conscious, and then you see that he isn't. That's the moment the life goes out of his body.
It was the lack of oxygen, not drugs, that killed George Floyd, according to a pulmonary expert called by the prosecution.
A healthy person subjected to what Mr. Floyd was subjected to would have died.
The defense focusing on the fentanyl in Floyd's system, suggesting Floyd died of a fentanyl overdose.
That fentanyl is a respiratory depressant.
It can be.
Right. It's used in operating rooms, right?
Yes.
The prosecution testing that with a toxicology expert that analyzed Floyd's blood and urine, and whose findings show Floyd's fentanyl levels may not have been lethal.
In terms of the ratio, was Mr. Floyd's ratio more similar to the driving population, where people were alive, or more similar to the postmortem population, where people were dead?
It was more similar to the DUI population.
The defense attempting to turn that testimony around, arguing fentanyl sold on the streets is not a controlled substance.
You have really no way of knowing what the particular fentanyl concentration is, literally from pill to pill. Agreed?
Correct.
In Minneapolis, Camila Bernal, Valley News Live.
And the medical examiner is expected to take the witness stand tomorrow. Police in Texas say a man involved in a deadly mass shooting this afternoon is in custody tonight. The shooting happened at Kentmore Cabinets. He's believed to be an employee of that business. One person's dead, at least 4 others were injured. Also, a trooper was shot in a nearby county while pursuing the man. The trooper tonight remains in serious but stable condition.
The National Institutes of Health is starting a study on allergic reactions to COVID vaccines. Researchers want to know if people with histories of allergies or mast cell disorders are more likely to show allergic reactions to the vaccines made by Pfizer and Moderna. Dr. Anthony Fauci says the results will help doctors decide if and how they should vaccinate patients with those conditions. Researchers plan to enroll 3,400 adults in this study. In your COVID-19 vaccine coverage, the Fargo Veterans Affairs healthcare system is now offering COVID-19 vaccines to veterans, their spouses, and caregivers. It's available to all categories of veterans, regardless of character of discharge. It also includes a widow or widower of a veteran. If you are interested, you can find more information on our website, valleynewslive.com. And with so many options when it comes to receiving a vaccine in North Dakota and Minnesota, you can use our VNL vaccine tracker to sort through them. It's right on the home page of our website, or you can open your phone camera and point it at the QR code on your screen and then tap the link that pops up.
Here's a sign that life is returning to normal. The Fargo Theater is reopening. The theater announcing today that it plans to reopen the historic cinema on May 1st after being closed due to the pandemic. The theater says they will host performances, film screenings, and private event rentals. The first event will take place with the reopening is a performance of the FM Ballet at 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. on May 1st. And some local business owners are expanding. Murphy's Pub is opening at 808 30th Avenue South. That's in the old O'Leary's location in South Moorhead. It is owned by the same people who own Legend Sports Bar and Grill in Moorhead. The grand opening of Murphy's is scheduled for this Saturday.
The closest pediatrician's about 40 minutes away.
Coming up, we look at the places where one doctor is carrying the weight of a community.
Our rain slowly progressing to the west. I'll have details on more rain in your Friday forecast and an update on first alert weather days that will bring snow. We'll have the latest in your forecast next.